books, the author wrote that whatever I am writing would become out of date by the time I finish this sentence. And you know that in the early 16th, the pace was not very high. The pace of technological development, that pace was not very high. But still the author failed. And the author was none other than Professor Nathan Cook from Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. So if you compare the pace of development at that time and the pace of development right now, it is tremendously high. The pace of technological development is tremendously high. And this puts a number of challenges before the technical institutes in their bid to impart technically relevant education to students. Another important parameter which also come into play is the internet revolution, because of which the students have access to information. Every minute they can get more and more and better information. That was not the case say 20 years back. And because of that, the expectations on the part of the students, those expectations have also risen to a very high level. And therefore, it has become very difficult for the educational institutes to design their curriculum and develop their systems so that they are able to impart relevant education to the students. And this creates, as you know, the gap between the requirements and the availability of the graduate and postgraduate students. And when there is a gap between the requirements and the availability, then the employability level of the students that gets adversely affected. And therefore then we have to go back to the basic questions, the three basic questions. The first question is that what should be taught? And that the answer to this question would be in the form of the curriculum design. And what should be the content of the curriculum, what should be the content of the various subjects which are in the curriculum. The second question is related to that how should that curriculum be governed? In order to give a proper response to this question, we have to take into account the instruction materials, we have to take into account the training of the teachers, we have to take into account the basic design and implementation of the teaching learning process as well as the supplementary processes. And the third question, which was not very relevant, say 50 years back or 20 years back, for an undergraduate college or institute, that is, what should be the research content in an undergraduate education institute? In India, many well-known institutes are known for teaching. They have very insignificant research component. But now, if you want to inculcate the interdisciplinary spirit in our students, and if you want to ensure that we teach them how to solve problems, how to take care of new situations, in that case, even for an undergraduate institution, there must be a formidable component of the research. Now, if you want to give proper responses to these questions, then it is high time that the educational institutes have to come together and share their experiences, share their best practices, share their teaching learning processes, and then arrive at a proper curriculum design and arrive at the proper syllabus. Coming back to the technological development, without the active involvement of the industry personnel, once again we will be falling in the same trap that we will be trying to teach certain things which are outdated, certain things which are not actually required by the industries. So therefore, participation of the industries in this process is equally important. Now the third element, that is the involvement of the policymakers and the involvement of the administrators, is also equally important. Because when the two partner institutes from different countries are coming together, in that case there are several policies and statutory requirements which are to be satisfied. For example, if you want to have a tie-up with a foreign university in the technical education area, in that case AICTE, the All India Council for Technical Education, has got certain requirements. And those requirements, they are related to the situation where a student, if he, after studying for a couple of years in India and he wants to go to the partner institute for completing his studies, he doesn't get a visa, then the parent university to which the Indian institute is affiliated, it comes into the picture and it has to accept those students who are denied visa. So if the parent university doesn't give you that kind of assurance, in that case the course cannot be started. So there are several, but the AICTE demands that kind of requirement. So if you want to take care of all these factors like policies and statutory requirements, in that case all the three components, that is the educators, then the industries and the policymakers, all of them have to come together and to ensure that the partnership endures for a very, very long time. So that is why I consider this type of colloquium to be a different one. We had several conclaves, several meetings in which only the partner institutes meet. They deliberate upon various topics and various areas, and then they have MOUs signed for the joint programs, etc. But that doesn't last for a very long time because of the various reasons I just now said. So in this colloquium, we are having all the three components together on one platform, and it will be possible for the participating institutes to exchange their views, to exchange their ideas, to exchange the best practices which the individual institutes are following. The policymakers will also be enlightened about the difficulties in interactions and what steps the policymakers can take at their own level so that this particular partnership program is properly facilitated. So therefore, this particular colloquium will be a very important step for future partnerships, and this will include the presentations by the prominent educators, policymakers, and industry personnel from both the countries, and it will include the knowledge exchange activities and the design of implementation processes and the supplementary processes, and the possibility of having the partnerships in the form of UNDP programs, winning programs, then the joint research programs, as well as the student and faculty exchange programs. Another important advantage which we would like to derive is we don't want to find temporary solutions to the present problems. Actually, in the long run, we must have a mechanism, we must try to build a mechanism through which at no time we will be behind the requirements. And that is possible only if the people from corporates from US as well as people from the corporates of India and the people from the educators from both the countries, they sit together and then arrive at the strategies. So from this point of view, I think we are looking forward not only to seek temporary solutions to the present problems, we would like to seek solutions on a more permanent basis, so that when we build a mechanism, then we will be ready to meet any challenges.